Servus und herzlich willkommen zurück hier bei Lamplight City. Wir haben erfahren, dass wir eine Frau Linda Walker suchen. Also eigentlich würde ich sehr gerne mit ihr sprechen. Vielleicht verlaufe ich mich da in irgendetwas, aber ich habe da so ein Gefühl. Die eine Sache ist nur, wir wissen nicht, wo die gute Frau zu finden ist, aber ich denke mir mal, dass unsere gute Kaffeehaus-Madame uns vielleicht weiterhelfen kann. Denn wir wissen ja, dass die in einer Schneiderei arbeitet. Würde ich mal sagen.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
Der andere Fall? Nein, der Fall.
Can we go over my current case?
Of course. What have you got?
Aussage des Kindermädchens.
I spoke with Henrietta Davis, the Harris family nanny.
A sensible place to start. What did she have to say?
She claims to have been unconscious when the kidnapping took place.
She must be an extremely heavy sleeper.
I don't believe so. The way she described it made it sound like she was drugged.
Interesting. Definitely worth looking into, I'd say.
Ja, möchte ich ja.
Are you familiar with the term metempsychosis?
No, what is it?
Apparently some mystics and philosophers maintain that it's a process whereby human and animal souls are transferred to new bodies upon death.
Fascinating. Some people have such queer ideas. What's that got to do with the kidnapping, though?
I'm not exactly sure yet.
Sometimes I'm jealous of all the odd things you detectives get to look into.
Ich weiß nicht, ob uns das Gespräch jetzt weiterbringt.
Have you ever heard of the Spectre Society?
I think so. They're some sort of ghost hunting club, aren't they?
A spiritualist group, yes.
Don't tell me this case has taken a turn for the supernatural.
Not exactly. It's just come up as a potential lead.
Okay, dann fragen wir halt alles, aber das bringt uns leider nicht weiter.
I found this torn piece of fabric at the crime scene. It's got an emblem with some initials on it.
I recognize that emblem. It's from Solomon Stitching, a little tailor shop in Lyon. My ex-husband had several jackets from there.
Sorry to dredge up old memories, but do you remember where they're located?
I believe it's on the corner of Bonneville Street and Surratt Avenue.
Fantastic. You're helpful as always, Upton.
Oh Mann, genau das war's.
I found this button at the crime scene. The child's nanny identified it as the eye of his stuffed bear.
Did you find the bear at the scene?
No, the kidnapper must have taken it as well.
Interesting.
Either the kidnapper is very compassionate, or it's someone who knew the child. That's enough about the case for now.
Okay.
Boah, bin ich gut. Genau das.
That's it, I think.
Genau das
Then
habe ich
you
gesagt.
better get
Ganz
back
genau.
to it.
Oh, yeah. Jetzt aber. Jetzt wissen wir, wo die Schneiderei ist. Und ich bin mir so sicher, die gute Linda hat das Kind entführt. Jetzt sage ich's, ich bin mir so sicher.
Good day to you, sir. Welcome to Solomon Stitching. I'm Jonas Solomon. Please, let me know if I can help you with anything.
Ja, mein Freund. Wo ist Linda?
Mr. Solomon?
Yes, sir. How may I be of service? Oh, let me guess. You're looking to replace that old coat. It looks like it's got quite a few stories it could tell me.
Vielleicht später.
You should listen to the man, Miles. He clearly knows what he's talking about.
Not today, I'm afraid. There's still a few more stories it has left to tell. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions.
Questions? Very well, but if they aren't about tailoring, I don't know how much help I'll be.
Do you by chance employ a seamstress named Linda Walker?
I do, yes.
Is she here?
No, she has the day off today, but she'll be in tomorrow.
Would it be possible to have her address?
Begging your pardon, but why should I give it to you?
Ich bin Miles Fordham, Detektiv aller Detektive. Die Wahrheit.
I'm a private investigator, and it's crucial to this case.
Well, as I said, you'll be here tomorrow. You can ask her then.
It really is a matter of some urgency.
I'm sure it can wait a day. But if it were really that urgent, I would think the police would be involved, not a private investigator. I'm not obligated to tell you anything, so please, let's move on before I lose my patience.
Damn it.
Please, Mr. Solomon, it's extremely important that I get...
So you said, but why should I?
Oh ja, genau, das ist gut.
I know I said I was a private investigator before, but there's a more delicate reason I want to speak with Mrs. Walker.
Oh?
Her son, Alexander, and mine were schoolmates. I just found a book he lent my son, and I wanted to return it. I've been trying to track her down for ages, and only just found out where she worked.
Oh, I see. It was a terrible tragedy what happened with her boy and her husband. I know how private Mrs. Walker is, but I'm sure she would appreciate you returning her son's book. All right. She lives at 403 St. Agnes Street.
Remember when you couldn't even bring yourself to trick people into thinking their shoelaces were untied? You've come a long way, Miles.
Oh ja, wir sind aber ganz schön gerissen. Aber jetzt fragen wir trotzdem noch weiter.
I found this piece of torn fabric with your emblem on it. Can you tell me anything about it?
Yes. Brown, wool, houndstooth. This is from one of the more popular jackets I sell.
And here I thought my ability to name ales within 5 seconds of tasting them was good. This fella has me beat.
Do you have any of them in stock currently?
Well, sure, I've got one on the display dummy over there.
Is there any way you can tell me who you've sold them to?
Oh, I don't think so. I've sold at least 20 in the past month. As I said, it's a very popular style.
Alles klar.
Is there anything you can tell me about this button?
Looks like it's made of wood, not very well crafted either. Definitely not from one of my products.
Alles klar, vielen Dank.
I'll be taking my leave of you now, Mr. Solomon.
Very good.
Jetzt wissen wir, wo die gute Dame wohnt. Ich bin so sicher, dass die das war. Also eigentlich sehr traurig aber... So, meine Vermutung jetzt. Ich glaube, die gute Linda hat den Sohn Charlie der Harrises entführt, weil sie glaubt, dass er die Wiedergeburt ihres toten Sohnes Alexander ist. Ich schätze jetzt einmal, die sind ungefähr zur gleichen Zeit geboren und gestorben. Und aus diesem Grund, glaube ich, hat sie das Kind entführt. Und dann wird es natürlich auch Sinn machen, dass dort dieser Fetzen aus der Schneiderei ist, wo sie arbeitet. Und dass sie den Bären mitnimmt, damit das Kind was hat.
Some people would call that humming and hissing the sound of progress. I'd call it annoying. It says here that Linda Walker is in the upstairs apartment, and someone named Douglas Emafiel is under the stairs.
Dann reden wir mal zuerst mit ihm. Ups. So. Zusätzliche Informationen sammeln, bevor wir die Schlinge zuschnappen lassen.
What? Who are you? Are you from the Steamworks?
Afraid not, sir.
Damn. Oh well, what can I do for you?
Mir vielleicht erklären, wie das funktioniert. Das würde durchbrechen. Da, so, egal.
Why did you think I was from the Steamworks?
Because I contacted them a few days ago when my boiler broke, and nobody has come to repair it yet. I should have known better. Those fools always take their time, if they even bother showing up at all. Meanwhile, I'm stuck in here with nothing but cold water. If I catch pneumonia and die, you'll know who to blame.
Ja, das wollen wir natürlich nicht. Aber wir brauchen Informationen.
Do you know Linda Walker?
Of course. She lives upstairs. Who's asking?
I'm Miles Fordham. I'm trying to find Linda so I can speak with her.
What's your business with her?
I'm afraid that's private.
Well, she's out right now. You'll have to come back another time if you want to visit her.
Have you got any idea when Mrs. Walker will be back?
Not for a few days. She told me she was going away for a bit. Ah, that reminds me. She asked me to water her plants while she was gone. Just need to remember where I put the spare key.
Did you say something about having a spare key to Mrs. Walker's apartment?
Sure, I'm her landlord. I look after the place when she's gone. Got a bit of a green thumb, that one, so she puts me in charge of watering her plants. The trip up is a bit of a pain, though. My hips aren't what they used to be.
Ja, probieren wir es so.
I'm a private detective, and it's of the utmost importance that I get that key from you.
Right. Private detective. I don't have to do anything you say. You're not really the law. So nice try, but I'm not betraying Mrs. Walker's trust so easily.
He says that now, but I'm willing to bet he'd do it if it benefited him in some way.
Sorry to bother you, sir. I'll just be on my way.
So, haben wir jetzt diesen Wasserkocher zu reparieren?
Miles, what are you doing? You don't know the first thing about steam engine repair.
It can't be that hard to work out.
If you're serious about getting it fixed, I'd suggest looking for someone who knows about this sort of thing first. But if you just want to charge in blindly, be my guest.
Das sieht ein Startventil. Ein Startventil ist immer schon mal gut. Kohle, Anzündung. Rauchabzug. Gut. So wie ich das sehe, haben wir hier... Ah, da ist noch was, ein Dampfventil.
It won't go any further. It won't go any further in that direction.
I don't think you should leave this thing unattended before you've made any repairs.
Gut, wir brauchen also jemanden, der uns erklärt, wieso es repariert wird. Dann kriegen wir den Schlüssel und so weiter und so fort. Vielleicht jemand, wenn die mit Dampf arbeiten, vielleicht hier.
And so we say to Harris and his cronies, no, we will not stand for this. Too many have died to allow this to continue. Steam tech must be stopped.
Ja, richtig. Aber vorher erklärt mir, wie man sie repariert,
The
bitte.
time has come to reject steam machines. They take our jobs, they take our families, they take our lives.
Ja, dann warte mal, bis die Digitalisierung kommt. Aber hallo, mein Freund.
Pardon me, are you Arthur Devons by any chance?
Yes, who are you?
Miles Fordham, private investigator. Could I ask you a few questions?
Guess so, yeah.
Ich möchte eigentlich nur wissen, wie man das Ding repariert.
Why are you out here protesting?
Because what Harris Construction is doing ain't right. I lost my wife in the Ligeia crash, and I'm not the only one, neither. Hundreds of people were affected by that disaster, and now these bastards are making another airship. It's like a slap in the face to everyone who died. I just can't understand it.
What do you hope to accomplish by protesting?
Simple. We want construction of the Lenore stopped, and a full investigation into the Ligeia disaster. Not only that, we want compensation for our losses. Royal Maverick took care of all the families of those on board, but the families of the ones in the park didn't get a single copper. It just isn't fair. We aim to make things right. After that, it'll just be a matter of time before people realize that there's no future in steam tech, and they'll call the whole thing off.
Ah, the innocence of the downtrodden. I wish I could be as naive as them. It would have made my life a lot easier.
Naja.
You recognize this letter, Mr. Devons?
How'd you get that? That wasn't meant for you.
I found it at the home of Mr. Malcolm Harris. He tells me you've been sending quite a few of these to his father.
Me and everyone else what had someone killed by that devil machine. I'm not the only one, you know.
Perhaps not, but he told me you were the most persistent.
Ich möchte wissen, wie man Dampfmaschinen repariert. Bitte schön.
What have you got against the Harris family?
Family? Don't know nothing about the family. The only one I got a problem with is Clyde Harris, the one who owns this yard. He's just like all those other rich bastards with their heads in the clouds. The man don't care about the dead. He just wants to make as much money as he can. I'm just trying to make him realize how wrong he is.
Do you know anything about the kidnapping of Charles Harris?
Charles Harris? Who's that?
Clyde Harris's grandson.
I didn't even know he had a grandson. I can't believe someone with a grandkid, a family, would want more flying death in the air. How many more people have to die before someone realizes that steam machines are evil? People will kill their own mams for a crown these days.
So,
Mr. Harris told me you send a bag of chicken bones and dust along with your letters. Why is that?
Chicken bones? Dust? Nah, that's not right. I've only sent letters.
Are you certain of that?
Yes, as sure as I'm standing here.
Right. And I'm the queen. I get the feeling this guy will crack if we figure out what the significance of his little gift is.
okay.
You must have loved your wife.
Are you joking? I loved her more than there are stars in the sky. She was my whole world, Mr. Fordham, the light of my life. It's been nothing but cold and dark since she was killed. You're married, aren't you, Mr. Fordham? I see a ring on your finger.
I am, yes.
Then take my advice. Appreciate every moment you have with her. You never know when she'll be ripped out of your life, leaving you with nothing.
You know, this fellow was actually pretty wise. Maybe we misjudged him.
Ich glaube nämlich auch, dass der eigentlich ein anständiger Kerl ist und der wird wahrscheinlich niemals ein Baby entführen.
Does this piece of fabric look familiar to you?
Looks like it came from some fancy jacket, the type you'd expect to see on the snobs in Leon. I could never afford clothes like that in a million years.
Do you recognize this button?
Can't say I do, but it looks handmade. I wonder how long it will be before the poor soul who crafted that button gets booted into the street and replaced with some steam-belching contraption.
Ja, ist schon gut.
You seem very
I'll take that as a compliment, Mr. Fordham.
There's quite a lot of people who are against steam tech, aren't there?
Yes, the movement is gaining ground and growing rapidly, I'm pleased to say.
I've heard stories about some more extreme members. Do you know anything about that?
You mean the Redites? Sure, I've heard of them. Even met a few. But if you think I'm telling you anything else beyond that, you're sorely mistaken.
Are you a member of the Redites, Mr. Devons?
No, I prefer more peaceful methods of making my voice heard. Now, if you don't mind, I think we should drop the subject.
Good day to you, Mr. Devons.
You too, Mr. Fordham.
Alles klar, kann man mit denen auch reden? Nein, mit denen kann man eh nicht reden. Was ist das?
Elect Hart Leroy, the man of the people. I think that's preaching to the choir around here.
Nope, da kann man
Todd
auch
Harris
nicht rein.
has no concern for the people who died aboard the Ligeia or their families.
Ja, ist schon gut. Da brauchen wir vielleicht noch mehr Info. Hui, wer bist denn du?
Hello, sir. Welcome to LaFay Lenders. I'm the owner, Chester LaFay. Are you looking to take out a loan?
Not today, I'm afraid. I'm Miles Fordham, a private investigator.
Look, I don't know what you've heard, but I run a clean business here. I don't need any trouble.
And I'm not here to cause any, for the moment.
Just keep your nose where it belongs, and we should get along fine.
The knows where it goes.
Do you suppose LaFay turns the heat up to put some pressure on his clients?
Ja, vielleicht.
That's the latest model Computron. They don't come cheap. LaFay must be doing pretty well for himself. LaFay with a woman and a small girl. I wouldn't have taken him for a family man.
Gut, dann reden wir mal mit dem guten Chester.
Mr. LaFay, I'd like to ask you some questions.
Fine, but keep it brief.
Hui, der kann Kessel reparieren. Oh, geiler Scheiß. Das will ich als erstes wissen.
Do you know anything about fixing a steam boiler?
Bit of an odd question, isn't it?
Nein.
I thought perhaps you might have occasion to fix your heater.
I do, but when the occasion comes, I usually just call a repairman or someone from the steamworks.
Fair enough.
Ja, Mann, oh Mann.
Tell me what you know about Malcolm Harris.
Ah, Mr. Harris. Took out a loan about a month ago. Still hasn't paid me back. In fact, he sent along a letter yesterday saying he was having an emergency and needed more time. I probably should have refused to do business with him. As soon as he walked through the door, I could tell his type.
What type is that?
Upper class, bored with his life, trying to escape and doing it through vice. In his case, gambling.
This guy is good. Maybe you can pursue money lending if the whole private investigator thing doesn't work out.
But for some reason, I pitied him and decided to give him the loan anyway. Compassion isn't exactly an asset in this business, you see.
Nothing to worry about in your case, then.
Aside from that, I don't know anything about him. I prefer to keep how much I know about my clients to a minimum. Makes things easier for me.
Tja.
Exactly how much did Mr. Harris borrow from you?
Is that relevant to your investigation?
It would help to have an idea of exactly how much he owes you, yes.
I don't feel comfortable telling you the exact amount, but I will say it was over 500 crowns.
A considerable sum.
Like I said, I probably shouldn't have done it, but I'll get the money back one way or another.
Aha.
What's your policy regarding people who don't pay their loans back?
There are a few options. For the first 3 months or so, I'll send them a letter reminding them. After that, I start to threaten them with legal action. You wouldn't believe some of the things people do to avoid paying back their loans. One client went so far as to fake his own death.
Do you ever employ any more unusual methods?
If you're implying that I do anything illegal, Mr. Fordham, you're mistaken. Look, I have a family to consider. I'm not about to go get my hands dirty when there's plenty of legitimate ways to handle the situation.
Kann ich verstehen.
Are you aware that Malcolm's son Charles was kidnapped last night?
I had no idea he even had a son. As I said, I don't ask my clients too many personal questions. Though now you've told me, I suppose that would explain the emergency he mentioned in his letter. Poor guy.
Take a look at this piece of fabric. Does it look familiar to you?
Sure, it looks like it came from a jacket. In fact, yes, it's the same fabric as the jacket I'm wearing.
Aber hallo?
Would you mind if I took a look at your jacket?
Sure, not a problem. Here.
Wäre hilfreich, wenn wir wüssten, wo. Da ist aber nichts kaputt, würde ich jetzt einmal sagen. Können wir die aufmachen? Nö.
No tears in mine, huh?
Not a one. You clearly take good care of your clothing.
I don't mean to discourage you, Mr. Fordham, but I've seen a lot of people with this style of jacket. Hell, even Malcolm has one. I remember he was wearing it when he came in here.
I see. Thank you for the information, Mr. LeFay.
Alles klar, ein nächster Hinweis.
Do you suppose LeFay turns the...
Ja, ich möchte wissen, wie man sowas repariert. Darum geht's mir. Tja, dann gehen wir noch einmal zurück zum dem guten Herrn und schauen uns einmal sein Jacket an.
Oh, Mr. Fordham. Oh, thank God you're back.
What's going on?
Our butler just brought this in. He found it stuck to the gate outside.
Harris, schon wieder falsch geschrieben. Wir haben deinen Sohn. Wenn ihr den wiedersehen wollt, du musst aufhören zu bauen, ein Luftschiff. Wir machen keinen Spaß. Alles klar, ich kenne mich aus. Das hat der gute Mr. Devins geschrieben, dieselben Rechtschreibfehler. Er hat aber nichts damit zu tun, er nutzt das jetzt nur als Trittbrettfahrer, da bin ich mir sicher.
You don't suppose... How about that?
It matches the piece of torn fabric perfectly.
So, this means...
It could mean many things. The only thing that's certain is that a piece of this jacket ended up on the floor of the nursery.
Seems like something worth asking Mr. Harris about.
Definitiv. Aber ich bin mir immer noch sicher, dass es diese Linda Walker ist. Warum auch immer, irgendwas sagt mir das. Aber jetzt reden wir mal mit dem guten Herrn.
I have some questions for you, Mr. Harris.
Yes, of course.
What is your...
It's obvious who sent it, Mr. Why are you wasting your time here?
Ja, ich glaube nicht, dass es war.
Mr. Harris, do you recall the torn piece of fabric I found in the nursery?
Yes, what about it?
As it turns out, one of the jackets in your wardrobe has a tear exactly the same size and shape as this one. Would you care to tell me how that happened?
That can't be.
I'm afraid it is. So explain it.
I have no explanation. The truth is, I haven't worn that jacket in weeks. I've no idea how it was torn.
Are you suggesting someone else took your jacket and wore it when the child was taken?
I don't know. Perhaps someone is trying to make it look as though I... But that's absurd. Why would I kidnap my own son?
Why indeed, Mr. Harris?
You really think he kidnapped his own son, Miles? Seems more likely he was set up. But he also doesn't strike me as a terribly good parent. Maybe it would serve him right to be blamed for this. We've done our part. The police can handle the search for the missing baby.
Nein, das glaube ich nicht.
Those are all the questions I had for now.
All right.
Der ist vielleicht ein spielsüchtiger Vollidiot, aber der hat garantiert nicht sein Kind entführt. Ich bin mir ziemlich sicher, ich rede jetzt noch einmal mit dem guten Herrn hier.
Mr. Devons?
Yes?
Mr. Devons, can you tell me about this note?
I've never seen that before in my life.
Lügner.
Are you sure about that?
Absolutely. It's as I told you. I had nothing to do with that boy's kidnapping. I didn't even know he existed until you told me. Remember?
Yeah. And that note conveniently showed up right after you had that conversation.
Ganz genau.
Let him stew in his own lies. His unique way of spelling is all the evidence we need to tie him to the note.
Very well, Mr. Devons. Forget I asked. Good day to you, Mr. Devons.
Was?
You too, Mr. Fordham.
Hallo, das kann man dem so easy nachweisen? Das kann man so leicht belegen und beweisen.
The only thing that matters to him?
Das können wir so leicht beweisen.
Welcome back, Mr. Fordham.
Ich möchte jetzt schauen, ob es da irgendwelche Bücher gibt, wie man Dampfmaschinen repariert. Was haben wir da? Geheimnisse der Astralprojektion. Das haben wir schon gelesen. Die Kunst der Seance. Die Riesenkrake. Aber hallo. Voodoo in New Bretagne. Medium. Was kommt nach dem Tod? Spontane Selbstentzündung. Geheimnisse des Tarot. Geist und der Äther. Selbstentzündung. Spontane menschliche Selbstentzündung ist ein hochgradig kontrovers diskutiertes Feld. Sie verliert aber nie ihren Stellenwert bei Gelehrten und Anhängern des Okkulten und Unerklärlichen. Der Begriff bezieht sich auf Verbrennung durch ein Feuer, für das keine ersichtlichen Auslöser vorhanden sind. Der Ursprung des Feuers wird innerhalb des Körpers des Opfers erwähnt. Die Opfer sind Alkoholiker, haben im Allgemeinen mit Frauen, okay, Hände und Füße. Aha, okay. Nein, das hilft mir auch nicht weiter. Schade, ich dachte, da wäre vielleicht irgendwas zum Thema Dampfmaschinen reparieren oder so. Offensichtlich nicht. Was haben wir denn hier noch?
That's probably the storage case for the spirit board.
What a fascinating device. Exactly what does it do?
That is an etherometer. It's designed to pick up vibrations from the ether and translate messages from the spirits.
Bringt mir auch nichts.
I'll be going now.
May the spirits guide you to that which you seek.
Ja, genau. Ich brauche immer noch einen Tipp, wie ich diesen doofen Dingensen reparieren kann. Kann uns unsere gute Frau helfen?
I've managed to survive the wild streets of New Bretagne.
It's always nice to see you walk through that door.
Ach, ich mag die.
Addie?
What do you need, dear?
Oh ja, ein Kompliment machen ist gut.
I'd forgotten how good you are at écarté. You absolutely destroyed me the other night.
As I recall, you used to hold your own pretty well.
We should have another match soon. That way I can hone my skills.
Yes, we should. As long as you can concentrate, I'm sure you'll get as good as you used to be.
Ach, die mag ich.
You weren't kidding about business picking up. You're averaging what, about 3 appointments per day?
More like 5. I told you, debutante ball season's busy.
Doesn't it get tiresome?
Not really. You'd be surprised at the sort of gossip I hear from my clients. I don't know what it is, but they just open up to me and tell me all kinds of personal things. You sure you don't want me to give you a trim?
Doch.
I'm fine for now, dear. Thank you.
Oh Mann, ich hätt's gerne. Kesselreparatur.
Addie, you wouldn't happen to have any manuals on repairing steam engines in your library, would you?
Thinking of changing careers?
No, there's just a boiler that needs repairing and I need to figure out how to do it.
A boiler? What kind of engine is it?
I'm not sure, but it had Whitney 200 embossed on the side.
Oh, of course. That's one of the most common steam engines around.
Okay.
Used in practically everything. In fact, the player piano at the Firkin and Fryer had one, and that thing was always going out of alignment. If that's all that's happened with this one, I know how to fix it. Used to have to do it all the time.
Adelaide Fordham, you are just full of surprises.
Where is this boiler?
Not terribly far. It's a townhouse on St. Agnes in Livingston.
Let's go then. I could use some fresh air.
Unsere Frau ist die coolste.
Not quite a player piano, but it shouldn't be too tough. Would you like me to walk you through it, or would you prefer I fix it myself?
Ja, hilf uns doch, meine Gute.
Please, tell me what I need to do.
All right, let's take a closer look. Right, the first thing you'll want to do is open up the firebox door and light that coal on fire. And it'll be a good idea to open the engine hatch too, so you can keep an eye on it.
Alles klar?
That was easy enough. What's next?
Now you want to open the flue and close the fire door so the water in the tank starts boiling. Once that happens, steam will enter the dome, and that big pressure indicator will start going up, assuming the steam valve is completely shut, of course.
And if it isn't?
Then the pressure will be transferred into the engine, and the small indicator will go up. You want to use the valves to balance out the pressure and get just the right amount into the engine before starting it up.
And what is the right amount?
If I remember correctly, it was 3 on the small gauge. Less than that, and the engine won't start. Any higher will tear the thing apart.
All right, here goes nothing.
Okay.
It won't go any further in that direction. It won't go any further in...
These pipes are connected to the flue. They must heat up the water in this overgrown tea kettle.
It won't go any further in that direction.
Wie war das nochmal, meine Gute?
I don't think you should leave this thing on.
Vielleicht sollten wir doch Sie bitten, das zu reparieren.
Dearest?
Yes.
This is all...
All right.
Schauen wir mal.
Just as I thought. It's out of alignment. There. Just like the old days.
Thank you for your help, dear.
You're welcome. Boilers are a lot like people, you know. Let too much pressure build up inside them, and an explosion becomes inevitable. You do well to remember that, dearest. Now I have to be getting to my appointment with Mrs. Lapone. See you tonight.
Alles klar, das war jetzt die einfache Variante, aber wir haben es geschafft. Und somit können wir mit dem guten Herrn reden. Aber das werden wir natürlich erst in der nächsten Episode machen. Ich sag mal vielen Dank fürs Zusehen. Servus und bis bald.